Hi everybody, it's me, Dr. William Hatton, and welcome back to my low back pain management class. We're here on day 3. It is side bending day or lateral flexion day. So just like always, we're going to go over the anatomy and function of the low back. We're going to talk about some posture. We're going to talk about range of motion, exercises, and stretches. So the anatomy involved in the low back, we're using the obliques, we're using the quadratus lumborum, and we're using a few other small muscles that engage from spinal level to side bend, left and right. This is also going to have involvement with the ribs. We're going to be involving with the pelvis, but our primary motion is really happening on the muscles that connect from the bottom of the ribs to the top of the pelvis. When you are looking at posture, like in this photo on the slide, one of the things that you'll see with people struggling with low back discomfort are uneven hips. One side of the hip will be higher than the other. We'll call that either a hip hike or a hip drop. It usually depends on what side of the leg is affected, which one we're going to be talking about. It will also provide something called a waist crease. There you go. Say that one 5 times fast. And it basically just kind of, you'll see there's a little bit more cave in where the ribs are coming into the bottom of the trunk, and we notice that. So this can often lead to pain and other biomechanical dysfunction. Now, lateral flexion, again, we just talked about it. It is side bending. A lot of people, when they think about side bending, they actually lean forward and then twist, which turns out that's a compound motion. So side bending is really best described as if you're standing straight up and down, you put your hands to your sides, and then you slide your hand down the side of your leg like you're going to reach down and touch your knee. That is really what we're talking about when we're talking about side bending or lateral flexion. And for most people, you will not actually be able to bend far enough to touch your knee. So if you're touching your knee, you're probably cheating and involving a little bit of rotation. That's not a bad problem. It just means you are using a compound motion. Now, we just described this exercise, lateral flexion. You're going to be bending, sliding your hand down the side of your leg. You see that her fingers are past her knee, but you can also see that her shoulders are rotated. Again, compound motion. Lots of people make this mistake. But just know that you won't actually be able to touch your knee. And if your fingers get to the very top of your knee, you've definitely done enough. And you can hold this. You can kind of pulse it. You can do this exercise a lot of different ways. I encourage you to follow these instructions and then find what feels good and make your own modifications so that it best suits your ability level. That can also be done in a chair, by the way. It doesn't even have to be done standing. Now, we're also going to talk about stabilization exercises because that's important for the low back. Today, we're going to talk about glute bridges. If you are able to get on the ground and you're able to lie on the floor with your legs bent so that your feet are on the ground and your knees are bent at 90 degrees, from there you can push your hands into the ground, engage your abs, engage your legs, and lift your glutes into the air. While you're here in this position, you want to squeeze those glutes like you are trying to pinch a penny. That will help engage the glutes, engage the abs, and will keep you in form for this glute bridge exercise. Now, if these exercises are helping, I encourage you to continue all 7 days of this course. If they haven't helped you yet, that doesn't mean they won't. We're going to continue going over different parts of the body of the low back and how it functions and how it moves and continue to build your toolkit of at-home exercises. So make sure you tune back in for day 4 so you can follow along and continue your at-home low back pain maintenance course.